My house lost power maybe about a month ago. During one night, the sky was filled with lightning. I've never seen anything like it. And then half of my house lost power. And I was glad to have the small power packs that I made earlier. These are individual power packs. This is like a 20 amp lithium ion battery setup. These are bigger lithium cells. They are 650, 26 millimeter in diameter, 650 in the length of the battery. So I have, this is like 20 amp. This is a smaller pack using these laptop cells, and this is another one, similar laptop cell. So I was able to use part of this. You can power a ceiling fan, a 12-volt one, and I use another one to power a light, and then another one to power my cell phones, things like that. And of course, this doesn't replace a generator, which I have, but I didn't pull it out because I know the power is probably gonna come back on in a few hours, which it did. But having these small packs in your house, you can use them separately. So they can be useful, and I have made cases for them. Like for this big one, I 3D printed a case for it, although it is a real pain to do it because it takes like 17 or 18 hours to print it, and sometimes something would go wrong and then it won't come out. Yeah, it's hard to open it with one hand, but anyway, you get the idea. You can make a case for it, or in case of this smaller pack, I use this container which I got at Costco, and this is just the right size for this 8 or 9 amp hour pack, and has a nice lid that snaps closed. And then this smaller one, again, I 3D printed, and there's a USB accessory, right? So yeah, they can be useful separately, or if you want to, you can combine them. To combine them, I made a little combiner splitter, so you can basically, this is like a bus bar, right? This is like a bus bar, grounding bus bar, and I 3D printed the case. I added blinking LED to it, so when it is hooked up, you can see that you can see the LED blinking. That means you got something hooked up to it. So theoretically, you can combine all three of them to power something bigger, right? This is another small pack that I plugged in, right? I made accessory cables like this. These wires are mostly 12 gauge, right? And you have a plug you can plug in. So I also made another one, this wire here. This is a little heavier gauge because I have a hybrid car. So theoretically, you can use something like this to jump your car battery. If you have a hybrid car, they don't draw much. They draw maybe, I guess, at least over 30 amps to start the engine. They draw that 30 to 40 amps for a split second. So How do you charge some of this if you have no AC power? Like my friend just called me from Ottawa. The whole city kind of went dark because of a tornado. Well, you use, in my case, solar power. So this solar charger, you can regulate the output to 12.4, 12.5 to charge your pack so you don't overcharge them. I set them to 12.4 so you have a little safety margin, because they could go over a little bit. They can go to 12.5, so you don't want to set it at 12.6 and then it overcharges your battery pack. Then you'll be in trouble, because lithium ion batteries, they have very stringent power requirements. You cannot overcharge them. So for my hybrid vehicle, I just have this smaller, thinner cable that I can hook up and start my car. But if you have a bigger car, you can combine several of these batteries and use a heavier gauge cable to jump your car. This blinking LED doesn't really draw much power. I just put like a 1K resistor on it, so the blinking LED won't blow out. It's amazing. This blinking LED doesn't require any special circuitry, because inside the LED is a chip that controls the blinking. And of course, to power it, you need something more substantial. You can't use something small like this. This is like a 5 watt. I tried to charge my pack, like a 2 amp pack with this. It took like all day. So basically you need at least 100 watt of solar power, something like this. This is my setup. So this setup would give me like 15 amps of solar power, which is what you need to give it a good charge. All right, more power to you.